4 friends, 1 screen, 10 games, 1 winner. If you're looking for a little bit of couch competition, then look no further. Here's my personal pick for my top 10 4-player party games on PC. Hello friends and family, my name is Skylint. Thanks for stopping by for another top 10. Today we're talking about party games. These are games that are up to 4 players. They tend to be extremely competitive, but random and chaotic, and it's just really all silly, okay? Yes, make alliances, make some enemies. Generally, it's kind of ridiculous fun, and that's just that. You're just gonna have to trust me, guys. 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, whatever interval, whatever game. I'm pretty sure that each one of these on this list that I have handpicked, tried and tested, believe, will be an experience. Keep the hype alive. Let's get into the list. Okay, starting the list, we have a game called Castle Crashers, and it is at the start of the list because even though I think it's probably one of the best games of all time, it's still really more focused on co-op for a party game. However, it does actually have some party game goodness. It's got a bunch of little random mini games that are 4 players, and they are competitive, and they're just really fun and involved. Now, the co-op is also just a little bit competitive in ways, like when you rescue a princess, you actually have to beat the shit out of the other 3 players to claim the kiss, and you got a bunch of different arenas and stuff. All in all, why spend $15 when you could play one game with one single game type when you could probably find that game type in Castle Crashers, and it's arguably done better. Plus, it's got the story, it's got the co-op, it's got more to offer, and that's how it made its way onto this list. Next up on the list, at number 9, we have a game called Speed Runners. Now, this game took me by surprise. It is a totally different kind of party game. Okay, so it's like a racing game, except there's really not a finish line. It's like you just run in loops around the map as the screen gets smaller and smaller, and it becomes more and more intense. But then it's kind of like also Mario Kart in ways, because you also get these random pickups, and you have like grappling hooks and missiles and grenades and stuff, and it's really just kind of crazy. So it's a survival racing game, sort of. Honestly, it's kind of hard to describe. You just have to see the gameplay and just hear the name, Speed Runners. It's its own unique, special little snowflake of a game, and definitely one that you'll remember and your friends will in any party that you have. So guys, let's talk about some Brawlhalla. Yeah, this game's pretty popular, extremely popular, so if you want to play it online, absolutely do so. They got tournaments, pretty big on streams. It's a platform fighter. Yeah, everybody loves Smash Brothers, and Brawlhalla is made in that image. Now, it's not a complete copy, it's actually its own unique game. It's just in the, genre of platform fighters that Smash Bros. Kind of invented, really. But yeah, it does what it does great, and also because of the 2D cartoon graphics, it's actually probably going to be easily run on pretty much any machine, which is good if you want to invite some friends to play with you online. But really, Brawlhalla works fantastically well as a 4-player local couch competition game. It's all about those neighborhood tournaments, and this game is incredibly competitive. Next up on the list is a game called Move or Die. So basically, it's like the party game of all party games. It's meant to be played as like an amalgamation of a bunch of random, different, crazy little kind of mini games that then also have random, crazy modifiers. So then like one mini game could be the exact same as another mini game, except because of the modifier, it's actually completely different. So yeah, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, and the namesake, essentially, basically, you have to keep moving. If you stand still, then you just die. So yeah, there's always this little sense of panic, and in party games, there generally is a lot of chaos, and in this game, with all the modifiers and all the ridiculous game modes that they have, the base level, the face value of this game, it's pretty much insanity defined. When I was making this list, this is one of the games that made me make the list, actually. So the game's called Duck Game. It's actually got a 10 out of 10 on Steam, and I first played it whenever I went to a local event called Replay FX, and there's like this big LAN tournament thing. It had like Needhog and stuff there, but there was one game that everyone was clamoring about and just having a duck and blast on, and that's a game called Duck Game. That's the name. It's Duck Game. That's what it's called. It's a bunch of ducks, and it's kind of like a platform shooter thing. It kind of reminds me of like Quake or something if it was a 2D party game. Yeah, no, there's some pretty crazy guns in here too, that being a big focus of the game. I mean, you got ridiculous things like it says on the Steam page. You got freaking net guns, mind control race, saxophones, magnet guns, and a lot more, guys. Now, couch co-op gaming has always been a nostalgic thing, a nostalgic genre, and Duck Game absolutely brings that to the front with its aesthetics, with its concepts, but also introduces a lot of really interesting things that makes it worth playing in 2016 and 17 and on. Next up, we have a game called Overcooked. And normally in these party games, chaos is definitely like not just an element, but like almost half or the majority of the game. So in Overcooked, you're basically always just kind of stumbling and fumbling around trying to, well, you're just trying to be a chef. You're just trying to cook some food, which is, the namesake, Overcooked here. This is a couch co-op-y party game where a bunch of people just get together and try to make some food. Easy, right? But as you can see from the gameplay, maybe not so easy. Definitely, it's got to be the levels, the different arenas, and that's a big part of a lot of party games is the arenas, platform fighters, dungeon crawlers, stuff like that. But Overcooked, yeah, I really can't explain it. It's just a little bit insane. I mean, you're just like literally trying to make burgers and stuff while on floating ice. Yeah, I don't know, man. Overcooked is kind of a unique gem, which I think any party would feel a little bit less without. And at number 4, we have a game called Crawl, which is a game that I've already put on a lot of top 10s, done a lot of videos, I stream it. I have a lot of fun with Crawl personally. It's just super freaking neato because it is a party game which you can just jump in and have a blast with. There is a hero and there's some necromancer spirits and you're trying to possess traps to kill the hero, then possess the hero and then escape the dungeon yourself. That's a cool concept. But what's also neat is that as you play the different rounds, you also acquire new creatures that you can then possess to then, try to kill the hero and escape the dungeon. So super neat idea. Basically, players kind of have this asymmetrical sort of game feel where players are constantly like possessing different objects and the hero themselves, and then when the hero dies, then another player tries to repossess the body and so on and so forth until they beat the boss, which in the end, the other players actually control the boss and possess the boss. So it is a full PvP game. You're just spawning traps. The hero is buying items, trying to gear up for the end game boss. It sounds asymmetrical as hell, and it kind of is, but trust me, it all balances out in the end. It's incredibly competitive and has a huge amount of replay value. Also, the pixel art and soundtrack is kind of freaking amazing. Next up, at number 3, we have Towerfall Ascension. Now, in any party, LAN party, or just casual Halloween party, I don't know, any sort of party scenario situation where you might be playing video games, there's a core set of games that you should probably have in your arsenal, and one of those games is this game, Towerfall Ascension. Towerfall is the definitive version of a hit archery combat game. In fact, many games on this list have a little bit inspired by this title, yeah. So, this game itself, it has been inspired by classics from the golden age of couch multiplayer. Okay, it's a 4-player local party game centering around hilarious, intense versus matches. The core mechanics, pretty simple, right? Pretty basic and accessible, but kind of hard to master. And overall, the combat and competition is fierce. It's just one of those good, solid games that you just gotta have. At number 2, I'm gonna put Gang Beasts. Now, I don't like putting games that are so predictably awesome, so high on lists. I kind of like to be a little bit unpredictable, but fuck yeah, dude, Gang Beasts is just so good, dude. I undeniably, uncontestedly, it's just super fun. Now, I said previously with Towerfall that there's certain games that you just should have, like core games. I feel like Gang Beasts is one of those games. Like, if you didn't have Gang Beasts in your rotation of party games, people would probably get mad, because it's just such a fun and chaotic game. Maybe not so, like, competitive, actually, because of how random it is, but it's just so lighthearted, okay? So after all the sweat, blood, and tears after playing Crawl or Duck Game or Brawlhalla, dude, having Gang Beasts there to lighten the mood, it's so colorful, it's got so much character. This is the game, you just need this in your arsenal of party games. It's pretty easy to turn friends into fiends when you're playing some competitive party games, I understand. Gang Beast is there to ease the mood up. At least that's how I think about it. Now, personally, my number 1 for party game on PC has got to be Ultimate Chicken Horse, okay? And there's a few reasons, let's list them all, okay? For one, it's the game of chicken and horse combined. Alright, that's pretty fun and silly. As a platformer, okay? The players actually make the platforms. But this is not a co-op game, okay? It's not everybody, yeah, let's make it to the end, kind of, no. You try to make the game as difficult as possible, but, you still know how to get to the end. You still think that you can get to the end. Of course, then there's gonna be somebody that just blows up a platform or puts spikes where you weren't expecting it, but that's the chaos and that's the fun. It's man-made chaos. It's all of the machinations and schemes that your friends and family can think of just kind of regurgitated on the screen there, and it's freaking awesome. It's hilarious, actually, and there's a huge amount of replayability because of the customization of the different platforms and, some of the different rule sets you can kind of give yourselves, like, hey, let's all only use portals and just kind of weird shit like that. Yeah, Ultimate Chicken Horse is freaking awesome. It's one of those party games where it's just dumb intuitive. It's basic. It's a platformer. You run, you jump. It's just, what you do with the platforms that that you make as you play it, and it gets just crazier from there. Now, they also just put in online interactions, and that works fantastically as well. But I just want to say, you know, if you want to play this game consistently online or in parties, it's honestly one of the most fun games, even reoccurring. It's got probably, in my opinion, the most amount of replayability, which is why I'm going to put it at number 1. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I know this genre is like super niche and stuff, so like if you have any games you want to share in the comments, you can totally do that. Also, do know that you will be entering into a prize. Every 100,000 views, I'm going to go and just buy a bunch of games and give it to the commenters. So yeah, just do that, okay? If we can get this to 1 million views, I don't know, dude, I'm gonna be spending a lot of money, gonna be buying a lot of games, be giving back to you guys. It's gonna be a party fiesta, dude. Woo! I don't know what else to say, guys. It's actually been a crazy ride. I think we just started too. Here's to making new friends and growing our little family. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.